Recording in progress.
Alright, 7 o'clock. GNAT's good?
We're on.
Okay. Alright, it is 7 o'clock. It is Monday, February 9th, 2026. It's the Town of Sunderland Select Board meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Introduction of board members. I'm Todd Lawrence. To my far right is Bruce Matson. To my left is Marty Nadler. To my right is Anthony Thompson. At the other far end is Rick Timmerman. Number 3 on the agenda, any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda? No? Okay. Item number 4, approval of minutes for January 26, 2026. Oops, I had it on here. That was a normal meeting, correct? Our last one?
Yes.
I must have messed those dates up. Okay, there we go. So that was just a special select board meeting. I had it, or a regular select board meeting. Correct that. Yeah, so can I get a motion to approve the January 26th select board meeting minutes?
I'll move it.
Okay, we got Marty to move it.
Second.
We got Bruce the second. Any discussion? No? Okay, all in favor of approving the January 26th select board meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Item number 5, public comment. Any members of the public like to make a comment? Dixie?
Just a reminder that we have 2 more signs. And I know the one, they were designated to go on 7A. And the one on the north end, we're not sure is viable. I think it has to be on someone's property to be far enough off, you know, even if you go all the way down to the bottom of the hill, it would be kind of in the woods. But the one on the south end, if that could go in right at Red Mountain.
Okay.
There's a nice place there that's viewable both directions, and it's going to be 30 feet off the center line. Just, I know it's not right now, but
You want to take the post?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
just I think about it every time I drive by there, which isn't that often. I don't usually go by Red Mountain, but
Yeah. I got it on my open items. I have a list of various items, and last I heard was I think Rob was kind of looking into it again, because I think you and Rob were kind of working on it. So I'll follow up, and then we'll drag Brian into the mix. You know, the new foreman into the mix, and hopefully this spring we can figure it out.
let me know. I'd be happy to help.
Okay.
We have 2 other roads that it could go on if it doesn't work on that end.
Yeah. So we'll get it. I think this might be the year.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else? Well, thanks for the reminder too. Okay. Let's see. So item number 6, the reviewed planned information for the town meeting public informational hearing. I mentioned it last meeting. I kind of went over it, but I made some corrections after we found some just numbering items. I don't know if I need to read it again. Do you want me to read it again? But yeah, so from the last one, I just changed some of the article numbers. I talked with Caroline, and they made some corrections on their end. So I just updated the article numbers, and then I updated the corrected total amounts that will be voted on. And so we'll have the public informational hearing on Monday, February 23rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. And this will warn it the usual 10 days prior, I think it is. Do you remember what it was, Dixie, for that?
No.
Normal? Okay. I'll look into it, but we'll make sure we'll get that out there the right warning times and the usual public locations. Any questions on that one? No. And like I mentioned too, we'll have that. We'll start at 7. We'll do the hearing. We'll close the hearing, and then we'll just jump in and open up the regular select board meeting afterwards. Okay. Item number 7. So I have on here review and discussion of the town garage building maintenance status. So this is kind of we've been kind of discussing various town garage stuff for a while. We have the MERP grant that needs a lot of some of the follow up or the initial projects to get the MERP grant going. I brought up a couple times the structural steel repairs, but then it seems like we are getting a lot more roof leaks now in the garage. I started hearing a little bit of some dripping in the corner, November or whatever, but now I've been told there's like 9 to 10 plus locations in the garage where it's leaking, it's dripping and all that stuff. And so to kind of facilitate, we have the approved MERP grant. I think we kind of need to have a discussion on what our plans are for the garage. So the structural steel repairs, and we can break this up into two portions. Like right now you have the structural steel issues. There's like 6 support beams that probably should be repaired, and I have that one quote, and then also the roof items. I don't know if we want to discuss, or I can keep going about it, but my concern is I think we're at the point where whether we like to or not, because of the age of the garage, I think we're obligated to repair the garage. That's my feeling on it. Funding's a different issue. I've talked to Caroline, and obviously because it's not planned and how our budgeting is done, and with the surplus going back to the tax rate and all that stuff, it doesn't really give us an emergency fund. So is the garage becoming a special project, and then we tap that to help take care of the garage for 10 years, patch it up 10 years, and then we do a long-term capital plan for replacement? Or this is where I kind of wanted to start, and we can discuss it. So I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on at least the two items of what we want to do for the garage.
Well, Brian told me today that it's very cold there and all the heat's going right to the roof because it's pretty much bare.
Yeah.
What was that?
Brian said it's very cold in there, and I forgot what temperature, but the roof's bare, so all the heat's going right out.
Yeah.
So my suggestion, if you're going to fix it, you'd probably fix the floor, and I don't know, can you actually like spray foam, like a 6-inch foam or 8-inch in all the walls and the ceiling? And then build the drill holes and rebar the concrete and pour a slab and then raise the doors and paint the place, or I don't really know. It depends on where you're gonna go with it. And then maybe put one of those dome things over on the other side by the salt shed to cover the equipment. Those aren't a lot of money. That's a reasonable way of taking care of a couple things, but I'm not so sure about building a huge garage is what the town needs, but I know the heat is a huge issue right at the moment. I forgot what the temperature was in there. It was very cold.
Yeah, I came to the office today, and the guys were in here, and it was pretty much unworkable this morning in that garage. So, and it goes into the MERP, and part of the MERP is getting the insulation, but you can't really put the insulation in unless you fix the existing problems, like the roof. You're not gonna put new insulation in unless you get the roof repaired. And so I don't know if anyone else wants to discuss anything, but I mean,
I have a
go ahead.
Dixie, wasn't the original reason that the grant was allowed was because it wasn't gonna cost the town money? And that was a huge decision why it got passed in the first place. Now, we're looking probably 30,000 or so in the roof, or maybe more with the steel in the roof.
Right, when that estimate was done, it wasn't to replace the roof, because the roof, at that point, it had leaks, it wasn't a major issue, and So that wasn't included in the MERP grant, but
Yeah, I know, but the reason why it was approved to go with that grant was to say not, as long as it didn't cost the taxpayers money, if I remember.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, the energy efficiency part of it isn't going to cost, it's getting the building prepared to be able to accept that. If this happened and we had no MERP money, you'd be fixing the roof, right?
Yeah, well, we're going to, the town, it's gonna have to be fixed, and some of that's not gonna get paid by the MERD grant.
right.
Right, yeah,
It's like 12 grand to fix the steel.
right, so it's, again, if the MERP wasn't even there, the money wasn't even there, this all had to be done, I mean, unless we build a new garage, and that's 10 years down the line.
Right, even if we did make plans immediately to build a new garage, this would be worthwhile, I think, to make the repair, finish the MERP.
Yeah, from a structural standpoint, I think we've got to address the roof and the structural standpoint. You know, I don't know about putting whole new floor in, I mean, you're talking serious money, putting into a 50-year-old building that, you know, we've kind of already outgrown.
Yeah, but if you fix the steel and you actually tear it apart, how much, you'd actually see what shapes and can it last another 30 years if it's
I think part of our issue is the town has outgrown that facility. And, you know, I think ultimately we do need to look down the road. I'm not saying it's gonna be this year or next year, but I think we need to look down the road to come up with a facility that's gonna last the next 50 or 60 years. But as far as this one goes, I mean, we've gotta make it a usable building for the current department, so.
If we have to replace the structural steel, don't we have to take the siding off to get to the steel?
So
Yeah.
I think it was a portion of it, and you know, I think it mentioned part of his the one individual that wrote the estimate. Some of the work would have to be outside on the exterior. So you know, I think the natural thing would be to coordinate with Centerline. If you got like the roof repair, you know, if we decide as a board to do look into the roof repair and then the structural steel, I think the natural thing would be to make sure everything is coordinated with Centerline, so the work is planned. You know, even though it's going to come out of different pots of money, you know, if they're gonna take off the panels anyways when they do the insulation. So then that'd be a natural time to go in and do those repairs, right?
Yeah, I think that's what their plan was, but I had a question about the 11,000.
Yeah.
I thought they were just looking at those two beams, did they look at more? Is that-
6. There's
Okay.
6 for the. What was the estimate from the Novelli?
Right.
There were 2 main ones, but then there were 6 additional, I believe. Clean columns, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then repair 2. So there was cleaning 4, wire brush, and removing corrosion paint with that special zinc paint, and then 2 columns that would be the welding ones.
Okay, they're gonna, weld plates onto those areas?
Yeah, it would
that
be
are rusted out, or-
power wire brush to remove corrosion, weld steel reinforcement plates at lower area of column, verify that base plate's not excessively corroded, and then they'd also paint it with a different
Zinc paint.
zinc paint, yeah.
Well,
And then we had the other contractor came out apparently, and I didn't know that's part of what some of the delay, because I thought they were just ghosting, as the kids say. And they never told me they came out. They just didn't answer my phone calls or my emails again. And so they came out and decided not to do an estimate after looking at it, so.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If we build a 3-sided shed kind of
Yeah.
thing, that we could put the heavy equipment in, do we need a garage that's bigger than the one we have? If we have a 3-sided shed to keep the snow off the heavy equipment?
It just depends what we want to store, right? Isn't it? I mean, we have the grader and then we have the mowing tractor. Those are the 2 main pieces I think that are still out in the elements. I mean, the tractor is covered in 4 feet of snow.
You have the excavator and the.
Oh, yeah, the
loader
excavator too.
And the plows and.
But, you know, so there, I mean, there's options, you know, but,
Yeah, I'm just wondering if we can, if we could figure out some way to protect the heavy equipment,
yeah.
you know, and if we could do a significant repair on the existing building, you know, maybe we don't have to replace the building and, you know, and it'll be an issue 20 or 30 years down the road.
Yeah, and I've been trying to research a little bit. I mean, I'm not an expert in construction and all this stuff, but I've been trying to research like what is kind of the threshold of, you know, because it's tax dollars, like the MERP grant's tax dollars. This is, you know, so what's the acceptable kind of time frame of when to repair, when to replace kind of thing. And kind of what I was reading is, you know, in our situation, you know, could the building, if we fix the roof, if we fix the sides, you know, the little stuff, you know, can we get another 10, 20 plus years out of it? And that would give, you know, that's kind of the threshold, I think, because we don't want to do all this and then turn around and tear it down in 5 years. But if you can get 10 to 20 years additional life out of it, then, you know, you can kind of justify kind of adding these expenses to it. Because, I mean, it's like a house renovation, right? Like, you know, we're going to pull the panels off. It's probably going to be, there's going to be more stuff, but you can't just put the panels back on. So, like, once we start this in the spring, there's going to be additional stuff that's probably going to pop up. Luckily, the garage is pretty simple overall, but there's going to be, you know, little bits and pieces that are going to add up. So as long as we're all aware of that, you know.
One of the, I agree with you, Marty. I think one of the issues of coming up with a pole barn or something like that is how, where are we gonna put it?
Yeah.
You know, something large enough to do it. I mean, it's kinda cramped down. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
that
Yeah.
lot goes to nothing, you know, at the
Yeah.
end, so.
We've looked, there's room enough for one on the far end where the pile of,
If they clear out
Yeah.
that stuff down there.
yeah, that would be the place where. You know, the town is there's a lot of towns that don't have half the garage that's down there right now. I don't think, I could name off a few, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, because the garage is about 50 years, I think, right? Getting close to 50. It's got the sheet metal roof, and you look at it. I mean, maybe they can repair it, but maybe it's going to be a complete. But it's probably a pretty simple roof because it's not going to be the standing seams or whatever they're called. It's probably just the sheet metal,
Yeah.
you know, and that should be pretty quick. I don't know what the cost is for that. 20, 30,000. I don't know.
It's the same with a pole barn, you know, you do the metal sides and the three sides and the roof and, it should be fairly inexpensive. It doesn't even have to have a floor, you can have dirt or crushed rocks or just to cover the equipment.
So that kind of, I mean, I guess to sum it up, I think, you know, in terms of funding, just because how the funding is, I mentioned we don't have a specific, you know, pot of money. We don't have a reserve fund really. But the special projects, they, you know, did have a thing about protecting and covering the town equipment. It's a town garage and it's leaking. And so if you look in the, you know, we have for big special projects, you can have the town garage and then you have the school. And those, you know, maintaining the school for, you know, if we get the school, if we decide to buy it for $1 in the fall or whenever it is, you know, if you have 60,000 for 1 year to maintain the school, and then after that, then we can budget for the town that way, and then, you know, the garage will have money for the special projects. We'll have to keep a close eye on stuff, and then we get the MERP money to make it a habitable location for those guys.
If Centerline is not involved in the actual, you know, physical construction, you know, could they give us a sense of whether or not this is worth repairing as opposed to replacing?
So, I mean, I've talked to Callie with BCRC, and Jeff, I think you've talked a little bit with Centerline, Kelly with Centerline, And I know for BCRC, kind of my email exchange, I kind of mentioned, I was communicating with Jeff about some of the concerns that we had for tonight's meeting and all that stuff. And I talked to Callie and mentioned where we're at with the board. And it was kind of what we're discussing, like the repairs, I think no matter what, we pretty much should do liability and all that stuff. But then also we don't have a time frame for replacement. And then we have the MERP grant funding. And so she was, you know, I'm not going to say, you know, 100%, but she was leaning towards it makes sense with the situation we're in to kind of pursue the repairs to the garage. And I would assume Kelly's probably in the same boat.
Yeah, and the two energy assessments that were done in the last few years, they basically said it could be done. You know, I don't think they went into what prep is needed first to do it, but it said it was worthwhile. There was a good amount of savings to be had over a 10-year period, if we're still there, obviously. But the thing about MERP too is we've got to do this by the end of this year. So this has to get done, and you got a lot of other towns. Arlington, they're fixing it, they got 115,000 earmarked just for their garage, so they're gonna be looking at a lot of the same people we are, you know, for seal up, maybe for steel fabricating or whatever, so we gotta move pretty quick on it, and it's just like we were saying before, what comes first? Well, you know, the roof repair, I guess, would be the very first thing for many reasons, other than just getting it ready for energy efficiency. Yeah, so those guys have, you know, safe, comfortable place that's...
And we're protecting the equipment.
Yeah, exactly, that's an investment there. Question I had about the reserve, the big reserve we have, that's just for equipment though, it's not for...
Yeah, it's not for buildings, that's the equipment reserve fund, and that's, for all the highway equipment. And, you know, going forward, you know, next year, we're trying to pivot a little bit on how we do our budgeting and reserve funds. So things might change a little bit next year in terms of we got to come up with a way, you know, it's off topic, but come up with a way to have a little bit of surplus to deal with emergency spending, you know, because once the special projects is gone, then, so. Yeah, so, I mean, I had on here the discussion, and then I had the estimate, as item A, estimate for repairs to the town garage. I have, if I can pass that out again, if you guys want to take a look. So yeah, going back, I asked 2 companies, and that's my email with the Harrington Steel. I don't know if you want to look at it too.
Dixie, didn't you tear a wall or outside panel apart?
Pardon me? Yeah.
Did you take an outside panel?
No, it didn't take one. We could view the outside panel from the inside. We took some insulation out and we could see the construction. And the recommendation was it's going to be much easier to take the outside panels off, put insulation on, put the panels back on. Extends a wall 2 inches or 4 inches, depending on how much insulation you put in there. But that foam insulation is what you really want. Foam board.
Like sprayed.
The spray is more expensive than just if you're going to take those panels off, it's very easy to just put sheets up and a lot less expensive.
How about the roof?
I'm not sure what Kelly said on the roof, but I think that was also, especially if you're going to replace the roof, pull that off, put foam down, then put the steel on top of it. That's going to be much more efficient than spray foam and less expensive than spray foam.
Yeah, so like I said, the one other contractor that I reached out to didn't give us an estimate. Talking with Jeff, I don't know if we want to do, I mean, we're at a time crunch again, but if the board wanted to, I could always find more people to ask, fabricators. There's not that many of them, but yeah, go ahead.
I asked Kelly too, and then I did some I guess Google research myself. This, I don't know if you guys know Vermont Metals up in Dorset, that came up. Vermont Roofing has a metal fabrication division that does galvanized steel. I don't know if they fabricate replacement plates or whatever. Wayne Jones Metal up in Wallingford. And And then the last one, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
LNG's out.
Yeah, they're the
Yeah.
ones that never got back.
Oh,
Sawinski Steel and Co-host. So I don't know, how much more they would cost to come over here, but we were looking for like a 50-mile radius,
Yeah.
because you're right, there aren't many. So there are 4 more that we could check to see maybe,
Yeah.
I mean, I can do it, you can do it if you want, I'll give you all the contact info.
So you have one,
Yeah,
just
11,000.
one?
Just one, yeah, that was the only one, because the LNG, they're the ones that came to the garage and checked it out, and they decided not to do an estimate. But they never told me. I only found that out that they went when I went to the garage.
That
talk
was
to the
one that
guys.
Kelly recommended too.
Yeah, yeah. So Harrington Steel's the one that gave us the quote.
Right.
So,
So, I was just looking at the quote,
Yep.
and, the quote is for 11,750, but all the interior walls have to be removed by us for them to get to the
Okay.
studs. Yeah, so, would we bring somebody in to do that, or, would the crew do that?
yeah, I don't know.
I don't think
Because, it says here, all columns have to be
they're
accessible.
not carpenters.
Thus, much of the stud, siding, and plywood would have to be removed for the work to be performed, and then eventually replaced. So it would be our responsibility to rip the walls off and then put the walls back up,
Yeah.
so they could access the steel.
And it's gonna be a major undertaking just to
Get to it.
clear out everything in the garage, even just to start
Yeah,
removing stuff,
big
so.
decision that has to be made if you're gonna spend the kind of money and go through with it. If you're gonna do it, I guess you wanna do it to make it last a while.
I mean, if we're gonna take all the interior walls off, it makes sense to re-insulate the whole thing before you put everything back together.
I don't think you can, it's not very easy to take all the interior walls up. It wouldn't be that difficult to even sawzall out an area at each post, and then patch that. But there's so many electrical connections coming through, and there's lots of stuff on the interior walls that would make it more difficult just to rip all that off, because that would be that was our first choice until we looked at it, and, taking those outside panels off, they just unscrew, and then you put down lattice, and then put down the insulation, and then put panels back on, and that'll be much easier, much less of a cost.
Well, it would serve the same purpose. You could insulate it from the outside and then put the outside, the steel back up. And then take off whatever you
Yeah.
need on the inside, but you would end up insulating the building that
Yeah,
way.
absolutely, that would be ideal, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's also why if we did do this, it'd probably be good to coordinate with the existing work for the MERP grant when they're pulling those panels off on the outside, or whoever. Because the plan is Sunderland's gonna have the bid packages, right? That was the plan for the big stuff.
Yeah.
And then they were gonna coordinate and project manage all that,
management.
okay.
Yeah.
And so this would have to be just coordinated, I guess, with them, just for timing and hopefully efficiency reasons.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is gonna be one of those things where it's not gonna be just 11,000 or 20,000 for a roof. It's gonna be, I don't know, double once you get into, all the additional work probably,
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be a easy project.
No, but doing the roof, it's not gonna be like doing a residential steel roof.
Yeah.
It's gonna look different. You can't do it in the middle of winter.
So I don't know if we wanna, in terms of, I guess, do we want to, what would we like to do, I guess, would be the starting point. Do we want to move forward with, I guess, looking into the roof repairs and coming back? I guess I'm trying to break it up into manageable bite-sized pieces for us to track. I mean, I guess we can start with the roof. I mean,
Would it make more sense to deal with the structural issues that support the roof before we start playing with the roof?
mean,
Also,
possibly, yeah.
does the roof prevent any of the MERP activities, or just the fact that water's leaking could,
You
you know,
can't,
ruin insulation or something
you
like
can't
that?
put in new insulation if it's not watertight, right?
That's what I'm
I mean, that would just destroy the R values.
Well, if you're putting a new roof on, they should be done together,
Yeah.
the insulation, when you put the new roof on.
Yeah, yeah,
Almost the same
Yeah.
thing as
leaking
the
roof
side.
and
Yeah.
insulation.
Yeah, take the walls down.
I guess you need to decide if you're gonna go down that road. It's probably not gonna be cheap, and then by the time it's done.
Yeah, so, in terms of money wise, I talked to Caroline today and, she says that we have 258 for the special projects funding.
Before we talk about, would it make sense to ask Centerline how we should time, if we decide we're gonna do the roof and we decide we're gonna do the, you know, the insulation, to have Centerline figure out how to time this,
Yeah, I think
you know,
that's-
and, you know,
Yeah,
and-
I think that's a good idea. Kelly, you know, we're paying her 25, 30 grand, her company, and
yeah.
Out of the grant.
And she's very willing to help, and so, yeah, I think telling her what we need at the top, on the sides, and letting her sort of coordinate that. I'm sure she's got the expertise to say, you do this then you do this, and before you do this, you know, that type of thing. So,
Sure.
let's get her in the loop, and I think you also, like you were saying, the beams, are you gonna go with that one company, or do you wanna wait and try to get other bids? I don't know.
That was the second question. I guess the first question is, does the board want to move forward with looking into doing the repairs? Because I know there was a discussion of just don't do anything, build a new garage. Does the board want to move forward with the repairs or in that route first? I guess would be the first question.
I mean, that would be my suggestion. I would support, you know, investigating the cost of doing the repairs and making a decision to move forward to do that. I mean, if you're talking about building a new garage, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Many years.
You know, you're talking about a big, I think it's more reasonable to repair what we have and repair it to the point where it'll stand 10 or 20 more years, and figure out, you know, some sort of pole barn or some sort of, you know, steel building, you know, inexpensive steel building, well, relatively inexpensive steel building for the, you know, for the equipment.
Right. And I think the boards that have been in, you know, in office and the public, we all knew that this day was coming, that
Yeah.
wasn't gonna get any better. And now we've got MERP money that's really is free money. I mean, we don't pay a cent. You know, we might identify things that we have to do, but we had to do them anyway, I think. So it's like, you know, we can make some lemonade out of it. Let's use that for what it's designed for, so that it will last even longer. Worker safety, comfort, the equipment is taken care of, it's, you know, it's more sealed up. So I think, you know, but again, I don't wanna harp on it, but we've only got to the end of this year.
Yeah.
Contractors being like they are, it's,
Do you know, for timing wise, do you know when Centerline's coming out with the bids, like the bid package? Because I know at one point they mentioned like late winter, early spring is when they want to start putting getting the estimates out there, right?
right. Yeah, that was my understanding, but I can check with her. I mean, this is all relatively new.
Yeah.
We didn't know about the beams, you know, until about a month ago.
Yeah.
Didn't know about the roof leaking as badly as it is, so
Yeah.
that might change things. But I did ask Callie today about, do we have to do it in that priority list? As you guys might know, there's a list. She says, not really. She says if, like Rupert did it, they put in all their heat pumps up there before they got to the seal up, because they had a contractor ready to go. So BGS is willing to work with you and saying, we know these things with contractors are difficult, but if you've got that, go ahead and do it first. So, you know, like things that maybe you're gonna talk about, the LED bulbs, the doors, we're ready to go on those if you're, you know, if you're.
Yeah, that was another
Okay.
another item
Right.
for the doors. Yeah.
But just to give you, what I'll do is I'll talk with Kelly tomorrow and, you know, explain to her everything I'm hearing today and see what her suggestion is in terms of managing everything that has to be done. But it'd be great if I could say, and we got an estimate for the roof, here's specifically, technically, what they wanna do on the roof, here's the cost, she doesn't care about the cost,
Yeah,
but that type of thing, so she knows what she has to work with to then get the insulation done. And that's why I think we really gotta, you know, get the roof estimates. you know.
Yeah.
Do we know all the details of the roof condition in order to have it quoted, or do we still need people to really
we
assess?
haven't had anyone come out yet, to take a look, so somebody would have to come out and
Yeah.
quote it,
And I wonder how much snow is up there.
and that's the, yeah, I mean,
None, I believe.
it all fell off.
The heat
Oh.
on it melted.
Yeah, the heat that comes right through the roof.
That's, yeah, maybe that's a good thing.
My suggestion of this is that we try to get one more quote, so it doesn't look like we, you know, we just, you know, made a decision on one quote.
So
I don't
probably
know
the same
that
for
you,
the
I don't know
roof.
that you're gonna get 5 quotes, but, you know, if you
Yeah.
have at least one more, then it's a more informed decision.
Okay.
I'll email you this stuff I got, cause I don't have the contact, I got the names, unless you want me to just give them to you.
I mean, you can email me.
Okay, cause yeah, I'll give you some names and numbers and
Okay.
email.
Is
There's
this
four,
for-
there's 4 of them.
For the roof quote?
No, this is steel.
This is
I-
steel?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know about them. I mean, Vermont Roofing's one of them, so,
There you go. Get a deal for,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe, yeah,
Do a twofer.
Yeah,
No, I think, you know, as far as the garage goes, we could end up spending considerable amount of money, but it's gonna be a lot less money than looking into a brand new garage. I mean, you
Yeah.
talk 100,
Hundreds.
you're pushing a million real
Yeah.
fast. So I think we need to address this and make sure it's taken care of before the end of fall, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
And I think with the repairs, I think that leads us to also what we've talked with some of the individuals that were at other meetings, like we have to be as a board, start doing the long-term planning because, you know, I don't wanna do all this stuff and then kick it off to the side and then 10, 15 years from now, well, maybe I won't be on the board, but 10, 15 years from now, they're running through the same issues, you know, without any,
no closer to a new build.
no closer
Yeah.
to a new build or anything like that, so.
I mean, my suggestion is we have this once in a lifetime opportunity with the Special Projects Fund. And, you know, we can do it correctly, probably for less money than we have in the Special Projects Fund. Or, you know, even if we come close to the amount of money, but I think it's important to do it correctly so that this issue doesn't have to be discussed for another 20 years, 30 years. I mean, it doesn't make sense to do a slapdash, you know, piece of shit kind of work, you know, just to,
Good.
you know, just to, you know, fix it so that it's okay for now.
Yeah. So do we, so we have next, we're running out of time, right, meeting wise. So I mean, the next meeting would be the 23rd. I mean, we can call, get quotes, for, you know, have roofing come out, take a look, structural steel. And then, once we get updated numbers, then I feel like that's when we can vote on stuff. I mean, do we need to vote on just confirming that we want to move forward with repairs?
Do you want me to make a motion that we begin to investigate what is necessary to make the appropriate repairs for the
Yeah.
garage?
Yeah, that'd be good.
And do you want a separate motion to talk about a pole barn or any kind of other?
I think we should hold off on that one.
Yeah, let's deal with the repair.
Motion
first.
to, what was it, Marty? Motion to investigate,
Investigate the cost of making all the necessary repairs on the town garage.
okay.
I'll second.
Alright, I'm just writing that down. Alright, so we have a motion to investigate the cost for making necessary repairs to the town garage. And we have a second, I'll give that one to Bruce. Any additional discussion on that?
Don,
Yes? Oh, yeah, Dixie, go ahead.
Just a note, Doxy Roofing did our 8,000 square foot building down in, on Morse Road, and it was and they put the roof on the roof. It was a steel roof that was leaking. They just insulated on top of that and then put a roof on top of that.
Okay.
And it was like 40 grand.
Could you send me that contact info too,
Sure.
if you have it, or just the name, so I
Doxy.
Doxy.
How large of a roof was that, Dixie?
It's 8,000 square foot building, so,
Okay.
you know, it's just shed roof, so, I mean, not shed, it was his roof, but
Okay. So
it's been around a long time. Bigger
So-
than,
Yeah, I don't know what size ours are. Do you know what size they're? 40 by 60 maybe?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what they measured once, on one of the
Yeah.
energy audits, 40 by 60. I know it was 2,400.
2,400 square feet for the roof. Okay. Okay, so we have the motion to investigate costs for making necessary repairs to the town garage, and we have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Right?
Any opposed? No? Okay, so that's passed. So I think the plan would be to get as much info as we can for the next meeting. Does that work for you, the energy? That we're moving forward on the right track too, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay. And then,
coordinate that would be great to get the repairs and the MERP grant.
that's the only way to do it, right?
Right, right.
Do you mind reaching out to Kelly and let her know kind of this is, we're ready to go?
Yeah, we're
on-
happy to do that, sure.
Okay. And then we'll try to, I'll talk to you and you can get me that contact for the structural steel, and
Right,
we'll
okay.
get people, calls made this week, tomorrow or Wednesday or whatever. And
Maybe give them the sense of urgency too.
Yeah.
Get out here and do this.
Okay.
So, equal.
And then once we get all that stuff, then we can do the official approvals and all that. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, go
just to
ahead,
add,
Anthony.
The removal of interference, do we need to investigate quoting that, or see if the, the crew is looking at doing that? I know you're saying they're not carpenters, but it's plywood. Is that quoting the removal of interference as well? 'Cause right now the
It's on
quote you have is.
Oh, you're talking about this other stuff.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
steel beam.
the
I think-
outside.
I think that would have to, that'd be a good question for Kelly. I can give you this after, or right now, it's,
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so yeah.
yeah, it's the estimate, and, it had to do with the coordinating of when they pull the panels off the outside of the
Right,
building, and,
right.
cause we probably wanna, if that's something that she can coordinate, and we just pay a separate fund for that, or if
Might
it's
have
part
to
of,
be, yeah, because it's more of a structural thing.
cause I don't even
I
know who
mean,
would,
you know what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
your structural
cause I,
efficiency.
You would actually, you're going to do that to put the insulation on, so if it was done
Yeah, I
at the
guess you
same
can-
time.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, it'd be two different funding sources, right?
Right,
Like,
right, because you got the beam, beams, columns, whatever, that's one job, but yeah, maybe we can,
You wouldn't do it and then put the panels back on and take them back off, put the insulation on.
yeah.
That doesn't make
yeah, so it'd have to be like, it'd be two separate jobs,
Right.
if, one contractor, two
Right.
separate billable jobs, right?
Right, I think, I mean, unless we can ask, and if she says,
Yeah.
well, that's part of what you're paying me for, it's one of those complicated things, because the beams are there, and that's not part of MERP,
Yeah,
but the
That's like-
insulation is.
It's like building a house, you don't put the sheetrock up until the wiring and the plumbing's done, right?
Right, so,
it's gonna get a little complex,
a
but,
little bit, but like I said, I'm sure she can be at the next meeting, she couldn't make this meeting, but I'll
Okay.
definitely be talking to her in a day or two, probably tomorrow,
okay,
and explain to her all that's going on now in the last couple of weeks and tonight, and see what she suggests, see what she can do, and she might say, I'm coming out, and I'll
okay,
look at it with a different eye than before.
yeah,
Before it was just to put the insulation in, when you and I were there, now it's become
cause you get, yeah,
more complicated.
okay,
But I'm sure it's not anything she hasn't
no,
done before, these things happen. You find out more and more as you look at things.
but yeah, that was a good catch, cause I don't know who would do all that stuff, but, okay, and then, I had, so for I'm just, item B for 7B, any other possible repair items or planning at this time, I think we're okay moving forward. Some item number 8, I have MERP Grant Town Garage, the pedestrian door replacement estimate, and possible action. I don't know if I was gonna print it out, but Jeff has a contractor for the man doors or pedestrian doors, the 2 doors down at the town garage. And you got the quote.
Yeah,
I'll forward it to you if I didn't do it already. But it was to basically it's the 2 doors, new doors with hardware, the door pickups, the dump fees, painting, nails, any miscellaneous, and about 28 hours of labor. And the estimate was going to be $5,500. Does that sound right?
right, and that includes some of the best, not the best, but good energy efficient doors, so it's not a waste. And the frames and the sealing it up, because, Brian was, I think, and he was showing us how the wind's just going right through there.
Is this gonna be a separate project, or are we gonna try to coordinate that with the entire,
No, I think
what
they
we're
can
talking
get-
about doing
I think
all
they can-
necessary repairs?
Yeah, I think they could get going on it as soon as you guys give them the okay.
Okay. And this
It's separate.
is coming out of the MERP. So
Yeah,
this is a
this is
MERP,
all
a
MERP.
MERP funded energy efficiency
It's
project.
2 doors down there, and then this in the back door sealed up better. When that
Oh,
was
the weather
another-
stripping.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was okay by MERP, so that was another one. But the 5,500 is just for the garage.
Okay.
The 2 frames.
And the weather stripping was only
Yeah,
is
a couple few hundred.
yeah, pretty cheap. Okay. And I emailed the quotes out to you guys so you could look at it. Any discussion on that or?
I know the drains have been working down there and water runs into the shop, and if you're gonna fix the place up, you might wanna fix it up right. So if you're gonna put doors on, then you're gonna do something to the concrete, then you'd probably wanna think about that, or you'd be redoing the doors, cause they'd have to go up. So, there's a lot of decisions to be made, I think, as far as,
Does it need a new floor?
well, the drain's not working, water runs in from the outside, and, you couldn't, it's pretty chewed up, so. That could be cleaned up and drilled and some wire rebar put in, and then put a 4 or 5 inch cap on it. So then the doors would have to go up 5 inches. So I don't really know. I guess it depends on where you wanna go with the building.
I think somebody's gotta come in and take a good look at the building and say, these are the things that have to get done. You know, rather than, somebody doing this and then somebody doing that. If we get somebody who can give us an overall sense of all the things that have to be done, and we decide we wanna parse it out, that's a different issue. But, if we're gonna do all the outside, and do the roof and everything, and we end up having to do a floor, and then we have to change all the doors again. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Somebody should come in and say, these are all the different things that need to get done, and then we can sequence them to make the most sense.
I mean, I think that kind of goes back to what we just voted on in terms of, whether it makes sense or not to do to repairs. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to have a new garage, and we're not building a new garage. We're trying to make this last 10 to 20 more years. And so, I mean, I don't.
The cost would be a lot cheaper. You're looking at 600,000 plus for a new garage, probably.
Yeah,
It was
that's what.
1.3 for Shaftesbury's.
Yeah.
1.3 million.
So I mean, in terms of what we're doing right now, though, I mean, if you start doing the concrete work, you start doing all this stuff. In a normal thing, when you don't have the time constraints, maybe, but I just don't know how far we can go with the time of getting the MERP grant, which is a time crunch, and then also the limited funding, because we still have the school hanging over us in terms of significant potential, but also significant expense.
But wouldn't it make sense to to say that, to know for sure that we don't have to do the floor before we do the doors. Because if we do the doors and somebody comes in and says it's absolutely necessary to do the floor, then you gotta redo the doors. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
You know, and if we're gonna go do the garage doors themselves, and, you know, and if you raise the floor, then you're gonna have to redo the garage doors.
Specifically addressing drainage issues near the doors is different than a full assessment on the building and prioritization and cost. That's a lot. But if we wanted to have somebody look at drainage running into the doors, it's a lot smaller scope to tackle.
You know, I just think that we need to know what needs to be done before we start doing things. Cause I don't want us to have to redo things.
Make noise, Dixie.
Could we possibly put a curb in, put the door in, and then if later on you decide to do the floor, you already have a curb, so that we raise, when we replace the door, you have a curb that sits up higher than the concrete floor, so it's a step down a little bit, or we could put a platform or whatever, so that it's not a hazard, but
Yeah.
that way, if you ever decide to do the floor in the future, now we have the doors in, they're done, and anything with the floor still can be done. And we could make it a 2-inch or 4-inch, curb in there that we set the new door on. So we would have to, they're gonna have to cut out anyway, because they have to take the old frame out. It's gonna be a pre-hung door, so everything's sealed nicely. And when they put that in, if they set that on a curb rather than on the concrete floor, that might solve the problem of,
That
in the
sounds like a
future.
good solution.
that's what I would think might work. But
I don't know if we have any obligation to maintain it ADA compliant or any code, you know.
I mean, you still can have, a ramp to it. It doesn't have to be, you gotta step over it.
Yeah.
Good ramp from either side, but that would allow for a future floor repair if you wanted. But then you wouldn't have to worry about that, in my opinion.
Good idea.
It would
Good.
probably increase the price of it, the quote I gave you, so, I mean.
And that wouldn't be probably covered by MERP either. Right? Like,
that
it goes
might be
into,
stretching it,
it
yeah.
goes back into like,
Yeah, the pre-existing structural, we need a floor. I mean, I'm all for, like all of us, get going here, but what Marty said makes some sense. I don't know if you wanted to separately contract with Kelly's company from the town standpoint and say, take off your MERP hat, now your town hat, and tell us what do you want to do?
I mean, I don't
Or
think
what can you do?
I don't think we have the time
I
or the
agree,
money
but
to do all this.
to get
No,
a
I
fall-
think at this point, we've got the major structural issue that needs to be addressed, and then a roof. And it would be great to do a full renovation, but that's gonna put us, in a box. It's gonna,
gonna
we're
be-
not gonna be able to do it in time.
Not in time, and
And we can't address everything.
I think we just have to break it into little pieces and do what we can to.
Yeah, we're balancing between MERP and town, and it's, ultimately, it probably makes more sense to prepare to do it the right way, but I don't think we're in a position to do that. You get to the point where if you're gonna spend all this money renovating, it's cheaper to knock it down and start over.
That's the. So I mean, there's really. I mean, it's a tough because there's not really a right answer to do this because you have just the way the situation is and the scenario is. It's not a good situation, but yeah. So I mean, in terms of the doors, are they wooden doors? Are they metal doors? Do you know?
Metal outside,
The-
Okay.
insulated.
Yeah, they're, I think 20 gauge, 18 gauge, something like that, 20 gauge steel, poly core. I can ask him, he'll probably come right out, it's slow right now. It's Kyle Crowfoot, he does the painting, but he has carpenters too, so he's ready to get going, but I could ask him, he could probably come this week, go look at it, maybe you could go too, and tell him about the curb and where that would be.
Even a couple 2x6s, you know, pressure treated 2x6s for now, look for the base and if they, just something to, you know, if the floor ever needed repair. And I mean, I didn't really look at the floor to see that. I mean, I probably wouldn't know either, but whether that really needs replacement or not. But
Yeah, I guess I'm just concerned if raising the door and then you have that threshold sticking up without any other changes to things.
I just build a plywood ramp. I mean, it's not, the plywood ramp's not a big deal. I mean, you
And
don't
you
need,
can go 2
you don't need a
inches too, I mean.
13-foot ramp.
you have an inch right there, so.
I don't know. I just feel like without seeing the situation and understanding why the drainage is not functioning, like, is raising the door in the ground the solution, or is there another way to fix the draining or
So
lack
do
of
we
draining?
address the drain?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole nother ballgame there with drainage in Vermont by a river.
Is it, Bruce, is it the drain that's the floor drain?
Yeah, that was clogged the other day and they didn't even know which direction the thing went yeah, so.
So it's not so much the
Why
outside.
they got a giant road?
No, it's the
Okay.
inside in, well, it's
It's
both, but,
clogged.
you know, it's just, if you're gonna spend a lot of money, you might wanna solve the water issue from having water coming in the garage, if you're gonna put that kind of money into a building. That was just the only thing, and then by doing the raising it, it would solve some of the drainage, and it probably has to be addressed anyways, cause they can't drain, the trucks drip all the time, and with the salt and stuff, so they repaired steel, wouldn't be long before it started corroding again.
So what do you want to do about the doors?
Yeah,
Sacrificial anodes.
Yeah.
I think
Dixie's idea.
idea of building a double 2x4 makes sense, you know, pressure treated. And then if we're concerned about, you know, ADA compliance, you can make a plywood ramp.
I don't know. I think that whole area down there is I'm just concerned about altering the height of the door and the implications of now you have a door that's 2 to 4 inches taller than, you know, it's not a Navy vessel. So I'm concerned about the follow-ups with that.
You're kinda in a hole, the top of the door is about even with the road coming from Hill Farm.
Yeah, that's right, all the water runs towards the garage.
So,
Not an easy decision.
no, it's not. You sure you don't wanna be on the board? Okay. So what do we want to do?
Well, would it make sense for Sunderland to come in and tell us, you know, what makes sense to do if, you know, maybe the answer is getting a giant commercial roto-rooter and cleaning out the drain, you know?
But that's not going to be covered by the grant. That's
Well-
that's going to come out of the town pocket.
Right, even their assessment of it.
So I mean, it's a whole separate. That's a whole. If we're
Yeah.
concerned about the drain, that's a whole separate. That can be a whole separate agenda item for these follow-up things. I mean, I'm trying to.
Yeah, I was just kinda throwing this in there because you're repairing the building, how far are you gonna go into it? So once you
Well,
start,
the doors are going in regardless.
yeah,
How long they would or wouldn't last if we didn't address this is still a question.
How long have the existing doors been there?
I mean, the doors are just being replaced not because of any issues. It's just because they're not insulated.
Right.
Not energy efficient.
And they're not. There's gaps and all that stuff. That's the whole reason. It's not that they're corroded and rusted.
So if we did nothing, would these doors last 15, 20 years?
Probably.
So are we solving a problem that doesn't exist?
I suggest we just go with the new doors through the MERP as it is, let's try to comply with energy efficiency here.
Right.
And then we're gonna have to address the garage, the issues that come down the pike.
That little overhang roof also needs.
Yep.
some
The
quote that? You didn't quote that,
I
did you?
don't know, he talked about possibly doing something, I'll have to clarify with, it was amazing, the water was dripping right under the handle, so these guys,
The door.
every time they go in there, they're grabbing
Nice
a
little
thick
overhang,
ice.
like, right next to the
It
wall.
had to be 4 inches of ice, right on the handle.
You get one of those fabric awnings to go over it.
Well, they thought there was something they could do, but I gotta check on it. I
Okay.
don't know if that was part of it.
That goes right back to, once you start,
It doesn't stop, yeah.
Right, you'd find other things.
So, does anyone want to make a motion on the door?
To
To
proceed with replacement?
Yeah.
I'd make a motion to proceed with contracting, the replacement of the doors.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion to proceed with the Vermont Outdoors to replace the 2 pedestrian doors at the town garage and do the weather sealing up here of the 3 doors, or is it 2 up here?
Just the two things.
The 2
Front-
pedestrian doors in the town office, with the funding coming from the MERP grant.
Right.
Okay,
The whole batch down
and
there.
we have a second by Rick.
I don't have.
Any more discussion on the doors before we move on to voting? Okay, all in favor of approving Vermont Outdoors to move forward with the door replacements and weather stripping, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that's passed.
I just want to make a comment. It sounds like maybe we're not discussing building maintenance issues that should have been addressed regardless of the MERP grant.
Yeah.
Because this first I've heard that there's 4 inches of ice on the door handle. First I've heard of drainage issue. Like, we should just be handling those regardless.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think moving forward as a board, I think we're
Should we check in on that a
gonna
little more?
gonna be coming up. It goes into like the budgeting, right? We got to
Right.
get realistic budgets and realistic line items and take care. We're fortunate we only have like 2 buildings right now.
Well, no,
But-
and, we always look at this or consider this the new town hall, but it's now
14 years.
14 years old, so all those, we need to be thinking about this building just as
Yeah.
well before it gets into disrepairs.
Yeah. So
the heat down there has been an issue for years.
Where, down in the garage?
yeah.
Yeah, well, they're gonna, they'll address that with the heat pump, which they can get going pretty quick too.
Yeah.
I'm not positive of that, but in terms of it's down near the bottom of the priority list, but it could go up if we found someone that would put a good-sized heat pump down there. It's not gonna replace everything, obviously, but, that's included in the money there.
Okay.
So,
Is the size of that specified?
excuse me?
How many BTUs of heat pump?
Yeah, it might be in the energy efficiency, or the energy assessment telling us, I'm sure, how many,
So on the replacement,
What was that?
we have to go for replacing it.
Oh, I thought we just did that. Didn't we vote?
did,
What's
yeah.
that?
We voted
Yeah, we
on
just
the
voted. I
doors.
thought you said aye too on the door. Okay.
That might have.
Okay. Anything else on the MERP garage door or pedestrian doors before we move on? Okay. We'll move on. Item number 9, highway liaison update. Bruce, you got anything?
Well, they've been doing maintenance and trying to stay warm and keeping the roads clean. I think they're doing a good job. I'm not really gonna go into too much more today.
Any questions for Bruce? Okay. Yeah, I second. I think they've been doing a great job. They had that one big snowstorm last meeting, and I think they did a great job, especially for the 2 out of the 3. This is their first winter working with us, and I think they handled that pretty good. So, if nothing more for that, I have item number 10. Vermont Covered Bridge Society municipal membership. So it's $15 a year. I think I've brought it up a couple meetings. So the Vermont Covered Bridge Society, it's a 501c3. I've been a personal member of it, but they do municipal memberships also, and there's towns, you know, in Vermont that have the covered bridges, and they've been doing a lot of stuff at the State House to get the word out of the covered bridges. The West Arlington Bridge this year had a big banner on it for Covered Bridge Week. So it kind of goes into like, part of it is the community aspect of it. You know, people do come to Sunderland for the covered bridge. Kind of drum up a little, I guess, you know, feel good for the town, but also the Covered Bridge Society has a lot of experts and subject matter experts. They have professional carpenters that do all types of timber work and beam work, and they're involved. They know everything also about that one bridge that kept getting hit, and they had the steel. They put that steel frame in. So I think, you know, it's $15 a year, so it's not the money portion of it that's, I think, a thing. But I think it'd be good for us to join it, to support them, and then also because we have that covered bridge, but also, you know, just the knowledge portion of it. If something ever happened to our bridge, I think they're a good group to start with, to at least get any leads that we might need, you know, about that stuff. So, so I guess I just wanted a motion. I would like to make a motion that the town apply for a municipal membership of the Vermont Covered Bridge Society at $15 a year.
I'll second that, if you made the motion.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. So I'll work with Caroline and we'll get that out, and it'll probably come out of the dues and the membership category. Or I'll pay for it out of pocket, either one. What else do we have? Item 11, old business. I had on here the Lucy Terry Prince historical marker update. I don't know if you were in the email, Jeff, but the state sent an email to all the town email addresses, just confirming the spring they're going to install the marker in the springtime, and they were just confirming the location was correct. And I don't think we need any additional permits or anything for that location.
I know one thing they wanted to know, would the highway department be on the install? I don't know if they did Chiselville or the others. But
Yeah, they didn't ask in the email, so
that was one thing I remember months ago.
okay.
They wanted to know. I don't know, Bruce, do you know, did they help with the Chiselville marker there? It's not that
So,
big a job, I don't think. But
Okay, so it was Lindsay
Paccio? is it?
Paccio, yeah. So I can always write her back. And you were in contact with the owners of that property, and they
Yeah,
signed off
they
on it,
said
right?
fine.
Okay,
It took a while, but yeah.
okay.
And I guess we could have, even without their okay, I think, you know.
Because it's in our right of
real
way.
close to the.
So yeah, so if you're not aware, it's corner of Hill Farm and Ondwa. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Right across from.
Yeah, that
Farm.
where that kind of near where that concrete
Right.
circular thing is, right?
Yeah, there's nothing else. there.
Okay. Yeah, so that was all I wanted to just bring up, is the proposed install of the spring. So
Originally, they said they would have it delivered here the end of February. I don't know if they're still on track
Okay.
with that, but yeah, you're gonna wait until it's nicer weather.
oh yeah,
And I'd be happy if you wanted to put together a little, ceremony.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
Or something.
kind of what they did with I think Andrew, were you there at the one in East Arlington for Remember Baker? So something like
Yeah,
that.
we could
Okay.
put that together,
Once it's nicer out, we'll
Sure.
figure something out.
yeah.
Okay. That's all I had for old business.
Can I just?
Yeah.
I think it's old business. I wasn't at the last meeting, but the contract with Arlington for the fire.
Yeah.
So the question came up, Arlington is on a January through December budget cycle. We are July 1st through June 30th.
Yeah.
And the contract for the fire is January 1 through December 31st. So it's like, when do we pay? What does it actually cover? So I checked with Caroline today. we have historically have been paying typically in November or December, once our budget's approved, once we're in our actual budget cycle.
Okay.
So we're actually paying in the rears for, I mean, right now, we're technically under contract.
Yeah.
But we're not, we haven't signed anything, so.
Okay.
So, originally I thought, well, technically we don't even really need to sign this until July first, but we do need as a board, and it's one of the things that we have to provide is fire protection.
Yeah.
So, we are kind of committing the town prior to budget being approved.
Okay.
The $80,000, but as a select board, we have to provide
Yeah.
fire protection, so, just clarification, so
Okay.
maybe the next meeting, put it on the agenda to review that and sign it and get it back to them.
Okay. So they don't need. So we don't need.
don't have to pay
we don't
for
need
it.
a revised contract. So technically, that's right.
They sent, the last contract they sent, that is correct,
Okay.
we're not paying for it, and they're fully understand that we are proposing a budget, it's up to the taxpayers or the residents to approve the budget. One way or another, we've gotta come up with $80,000 for fire protection for for 26.
Yeah, we had to, remember, we had a discussion last
That,
meeting
well, that's
about,
what I asked Rick about it. So,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. So I'll put
They
that.
didn't even know when we paid them, so.
Okay. So they're just being difficult.
So they're not gonna hold it.
So
not gonna cut us
we're
off.
keeping it status quo then,
We're just
basically.
keep it
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Todd, I have
Yeah.
a question. What happens if the town says they don't want to buy the school for $1? Does that relieve you of any?
It would stay with the school board, and the school
They would have
district.
to maintain it.
They would. It would just remain their building, and they could do what they want with
Or they
it.
can sell it.
they
Yeah.
could sell it.
They could sell it. They could whatever they wanted if we decided not to buy it.
I'm just curious.
That would be an excellent question during town meeting. Please, somebody bring it up,
Yeah.
because it's not on
It'd be under the non-binding business. Yeah.
non-binding, but it's a serious decision that we've gotta decide what we wanna do.
Because it could be expensive for the town to
Could be
maintain the
very-
building.
It could be very profitable for the town too.
Yeah.
It might be cheaper than the garage.
I mean,
I don't know.
we have, if we
Could pay for it.
go to sell it before the 5 years, we have to pay the school district $26,000 or something like that. But the property's worth a lot more than that.
Sure.
You know, we could just turn around and sell it and pay them that money.
So okay. Yeah. So I'll add that to the next contract. Any other old business? No. New business. The only thing I had, Caroline asked me to mention dog licenses due April 1st. So she just wanted me to give a courtesy heads up. I don't have any other new business, but in terms of review correspondence, signing warrants, the only thing in this folder for that is Caroline already took care of it, but she got the facilities use agreement with the school board to use the elementary school for our town meeting. That's all I had for correspondence. And did you?
We don't need to do that because we,
Bruce has the standing. Well,
I thought we had to do it every time.
no, well, yeah. Next, after the town meeting, we'll have to do a whole new approval. But. Okay, we'll just wait for the folders to be signed, and then we
That
can.
one come back.
Yeah, I don't have anything else in here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
They're writing their names, we can all know it.
So do you have a robotic arm that sticks
Just
out?
Nope, just the one that I was born with.
How did you maintain not freezing to death?
Thank you.
Well below my house.
Yep. By the time I got out, it was warmer, I didn't get out until 30.
38 now, I know. It's 38 maybe,
It's
right?
warm, and you wear lots of layers.
so far, we're pretty well set.
Bruce, is this just for a review right now?
Actually, them two top ones are the signed ones guaranteeing
And then
that
there's this,
the warranty will start when they
972.
take.
Oh,
I
okay.
think there's a mistake. I
I would-
think it's
that's
70. How
actually
much,
the-
what's the cents?
68.
And what is this,
That's
at
actually
72,
numbers right there.
68?
Well,
I
that's
Okay.
would
72.
recommend the 600.
Okay.
97.
Is this,
Color, I don't know, white,
So the
black.
85 was there?
would, do you want this as an agenda item next meeting, for your last meeting?
Sure.
Okay.
What else?
That's the last one?
Okay.
That's one,
2020.
And then the town meeting.
yeah.
I haven't found the 85
Okay.
yet.
I haven't signed it yet.
744791? Or is it the total bill of
Are
87?
we paying that?
Last one, Anthony,
Invoice amount due.
Billed amount, paid amount.
6 years and
Did you find something for 47? Or 7400?
No, she's paying the
But this isn't
8735.
Why?
I didn't see this.
We
Carry the
already
one.
paid that, so we only owe 7447.
I understand that, I'm not sure the treasurer understands that.
And that one is how much down the bottom?
492 for Nemrick,
Yeah,
492. So there's something with, for a water heater, going to Caroline
Todd,
for
is Martin done with
$972.
And there's no invoice.
Hey Marty, are you still working on the green one? The green
I
folder?
have, well, you can
He
send it
hasn't-
down
he
there.
hasn't-
Send it there, they can look
Send
at
it
it.
down there and then,
This is Wells Fargo invoice. There's not even a Wells Fargo. So there's no balance on that. Balance due, 230.
and there's not a 235?
Is there something that needs, further clarification from the treasurer?
Seems like.
Yeah, I couldn't even find the Allied Auto Parts in here.
So might just be missing that included?
There's also something for 900 and some odd dollars that we don't have an invoice for.
Okay.
Sorry, TV Land.
That's okay.
$38.99. Yeah. $250.
Okay.
So this is Vermont League Cities and Towns. We have,
Very good.
billed amount was 8735.20. We paid 1287.29. The invoice amount due is 7447.91.
And she paid
But
8735.20.
we're paying them 87,325 again.
Okay.
And then Nemrick is 492.12.
Yeah, that's here.
And then we get into this Wells Fargo account.
And who's that for?
Automatic withdrawal. Oh, it's the Rico copier.
Okay, so that's the lease?
So for $72.68,
There's no 7268 here.
this is due the 3rd or 10th of March. The invoice was 124.
That's not here. And
And then there's a MVP Healthcare that's was invoiced January 10th. It's due January 31st with a balance of 0.
so we don't know
Wait a
anything.
second. Outstanding current due.
Reminds me of a conversation.
Yep.
that figure's not here either.
But automatic payment, how are we automatically paying for this?
My automatic, like credit card.
And then there's an Apex software for $235,
No.
which was invoiced on December 28th. Doesn't say that we paid it, or,
That's not here.
that's our renewal? Oh, it's this. Oh, wait.
Pretty good.
$5.17, no, that can't, that's version 5.17.
Been a tough, been an out of ordinary winter.
Yeah.
So what's
A lot of,
this? 12,
Stuff going on the
825.
roads and.
Yeah, I mean, every time I think
This
about
is
it,
work order, isn't even.
Like, yeah, that's
That's
where
for
time pays good, but
tabulators.
it's always on nights and weekends, you know?
Is that, must be for, is that for the?
For voting.
Sure, I wanna be
upcoming
at it.
vote?
Mike King.
That's what the, yeah.
And then there's something here for domain listing for $288. Is that on there?
Nope.
So we just don't sign it, I guess.
All right.
You want me to take care of that tomorrow? No, I can't. I'm going to New York. I can't take care of it tomorrow.
I'll come down tomorrow.
You'll take care of it and you'll look at it? Okay. Okay.
So I guess the question is, if they straighten it out, can we just have people stop by and sign it?
I'm sure.
Otherwise, you're,
Technically, no. I don't think. Well, it's a regular administrator. I mean, technically, it should be signed in this way.
We've done that before. We came in and signed something.
Well, I mean, it's changed in the last year that we don't do it.
no, it's just, you've got people that, we've got invoices probably back from December that probably should be paying.
Yeah.
Payroll.
There's 3 on it.
Did you sign that?
There's 3 signatures,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
fine.
Okay. I mean, technically, I don't know if it falls under just regular routine administration in terms of, for the law. I think the warrants, I mean, have to be all here, so.
Can we make a motion that upon,
That's the right way to do it, that's the right
Yeah.
way to do it.
Go in and sign.
Tomorrow?
upon after review with the town clerk/treasurer, clarification on the general fund, I guess warrants to be
Warrant.
signed?
There's one warrant.
And we'd need a date, time and a
So,
date.
I mean, technically, we need 3 on there?
Yeah,
So,
tomorrow,
why don't we put 2 of them on there now,
okay.
and then
I should
after
cross mine out.
review, I'll just be the 3rd signature.
Okay.
It's-
That works for me.
Looks like you signed it twice.
Yeah, I crossed one out.
I know.
Do you wanna hold,
Well, you
It
need another
wasn't
signature.
much different than
Somebody
what you
else
signed.
has to do that.
Well, once I cross it out, it's no good.
alright, so we have a motion,
I'm saying the 2 look very similar. I'm
Well,
not
yes.
saying.
It comes from signing my name 1,000 times.
do you want me to, do you mind if I amend it to add your name to it? So motion for Rick Timmerman to sign the general fund warrants following clarification of questions from town
Sure.
clerk.
Sure.
Okay, do I have a second for that?
Yes, second.
So we have a motion from Rick, we have a second, any questions? Okay, all in favor of, approving Rick to sign the general fund warrants, following clarification from town clerk tomorrow, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I mean, technically, that's the right way
Are
to
they
do it.
open?
Tomorrow's Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got you. Okay,
I didn't.
These meetings, okay. We don't need to, I don't believe we need an executive session. So the next business meeting for the Sunderland Select Board will be on Monday, February 23rd, 2026, following the town meeting public informational hearing, which begins at 7 p.m. Number 16 is adjourning.
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Okay, we are adjourned at 8:52, or correction, 8:25 p.m.